of being free like a bird, and it's a beautiful feeling, right? Or just seeing something new, traveling essentially without a passport, without a visa, right? Sometimes on Earth, but sometimes it feels like you are in different planes of reality, and sometimes you see something that inspires you here on Earth to tackle a problem, to just see the world a different way, or just to understand life in a deeper manner, right? But there's just curiosities about the out-of-body experience. For example, one of my friends in university, he had sleep paralysis very frequently, and the topic came up about what I'm interested in, and he said, I have this experience where I feel like my body just locks up, I can't open my eyes, I can't speak when I get up, and I panic, right? And he said the first time he felt it, he thought he was going to die or was dying. But of course, he's had this now dozens of times, so he knows he'll be okay, but he just feels uncomfortable, right? And he didn't know what he could do with it. So I told him, why don't you stop struggling with it and just let it go, just see what happens. That's all I told him. And he did that the next time it happened, a couple of weeks later, and he had an out-of-body experience, right? And what he remembers the most about that OBE were two things. One was that he could see through his closet into the clothes that were hanging on the closet. And then he could go deeper and deeper, zooming in into the fabric. So it's almost like you have this microscopic vision, And then everything was so sharp. Even he remembers how his shoelaces were, laid out on the floor, on his sneakers and the shoelaces, the way they were just splashed on the floor. Then he turned the corner and he noticed that his body went through part of the door frame. And that was interesting. And then he saw another one of our roommates making a sandwich, cutting something in a particular part of the kitchen. And then he came back and he looked, and his shoes were laid out exactly the same way, and our roommate was cooking, and that whole idea for him was very powerful, that he could have almost like new senses, right? And you can zoom in, you can see through walls, you can see at a distance, seeing in 360 degrees at the same time, which is extraordinary. And also perceiving things that our brain can't even make sense of it. A sound you cannot even hear with your natural hearing spectrum. A color that doesn't make sense to us with our physical eyes. So having all these novel experiences and senses, you get the idea that the physical body is almost like a rudimentary copy of that other body that can only do a fraction of what that body can do. And it's really fascinating just to explore that aspect. The things, the senses, or the kind of perception you can have beyond just the brain, our seven senses.